This is David Diaz, former WBC lightweight champion of the world, and you're listening to The Grueling Truth.
Hey, welcome everybody to another episode of The Truth About Fantasy Football, the Grueling Truth Radio Network's weekly fantasy football show brought to you by Gridiron Mo. Gridiron Mo is a new interactive football app that lets you call what you think an offense or defense will do in a live NFL game and get to compete against others across the country. Check it out at gridironmo.com or thegruelingtruth.net. I'm your host for the Fantasy Football Show, Matt Andruscavage, and along with me are Oz Davis and Aaron Zepnick. How's it going, guys? Don't everybody jump in at once.
I always wait for Aaron. I always figure,
And I'm waiting for Oz because this week especially, I'm over here licking my wounds, as our guest will tell you.
We're all licking our wounds. Are you kidding?
Oh, man.
I don't know. Yeah. All of our podcasts, I think all of our teams won. Our guest today is probably the only one that's going to be happy in all of our shows. So everyone's licking their wounds.
Yeah,
did everybody have Denver and San Diego players, or what? Because that's what killed me right from the go. I had three position players from Denver and San Diego. They got me 2.5 points each. It was awesome.
Yeah, there's so many duds happened over the weekend, and everybody's favorite team lost. It was just a crappy weekend. So before we
who's everybody's favorite team?
Well, I know Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Green Bay. Let's see, who else?
The Rams.
Jets. There's just too many people that everybody's favorite team lost. So, and a lot of people didn't do well in fantasy either. So, so before we introduce our guest, I guess Oz has a wacky idea.
Oh, even before we introduce our guest? Well, yeah, you're right. I've waited.
Or did you want me to introduce first, and then you get to give your wacky
please,
idea?
Because she can get in on this idea too.
All right, perfect. So we have a guest today, and her name is LaDonna Williams from Rivalry Sports. She does a blog and a podcast. LaDonna, welcome to the show.
Hey, how are you?
Doing good. Glad you could be here with us tonight.
I'm like interested in this wacky idea.
I am too. I'm just kind of wondering if something's going to explode. I mean, you just never know with that.
No, it's not so wacky. It's not an original idea or anything like that. I always come back to it every 3 years. But it's
so a non-wacky copy idea of somebody's.
Oh, I didn't consciously copy it. I'm just saying, it's out there. And this comes up every once in a while. I just wanted to get y'all's opinion about this. Don't you think what the NFL could really use, or something it could really use, is derby games? Don't you think that, like, 1 week a year we should have derby games? We should have, every year we should have Jets-Giants, Every year we should have, Pittsburgh-Philadelphia, I mean,
interstate games, okay.
These natural geographical rivalries exist, like Miami-Tampa Bay. They exist. And it would be a great way to cross over fan interest. You could do like a zillion promotions tied into this thing, right, for the Ohio Cup, or the New York City Bowl, Big Apple Bowl, or whatever. And it would be a great way to just fill one of those bizarre weeks on the schedule where otherwise you get something like Arizona versus the Jets. I mean, wouldn't the Jets?
I have an idea. It's something that we could actually just do right out of the box. How about the NFL schedule makers never put a bad team on primetime? Especially these. I mean, when do we ever get a good Thursday night game or a good Monday night game? They're almost all bad.
Thanksgiving, we might.
Sunday night owns primetime.
Yeah, Sunday night's that's it. It's terrible.
I agree.
But we digress.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of any good game.
So, LaDonna, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Tell us a little bit about your blog and how long you've been playing fantasy and all that kind of stuff.
I am originally from St. Louis, Missouri. I currently live in Dallas, Texas for about 6 years now.
Sorry, you'll have to excuse Aaron. He's suffering from.
I'll just mention a number: 157. If you need to Google it, just look it up. 157.
I know it's the amount of yards Ezekiel Elliott had against our number one rush defense.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
the first time they played a first stringer. So go ahead.
Exactly.
Yes, he's a St. Louis kid, so that makes it even more special to me. Like I said, I'm a Rivalry Sports .sportsblog.com. That's the whole thing. It's like really, really, really long. But I write fantasy blogs. I write the Studs and Duds blogs, and I also do have a weekly update of what happened in the NFL. I choose a couple games to recap on. Let's see. I have been playing fantasy for about 5 years now. I love sports. I've loved sports, and my fiance taught me how to play it, and now he hates me because I have became the better one out of the two of us.
So he's asking for your advice now.
Yes.
We definitely need to get him on here.
I don't
that
think he would
for
do
an
it.
Interesting discussion. If I'm right, I think he knows better than to, I think what you were saying. I think you were telling me this the other day. He knows better than to, pump his chest and.
Oh yeah.
He knows more, right?
Oh yeah, he knows. He knows I know more. I actually watch more sports and like more shows than he does. So, good luck.
Well, he created a monster. Good for him.
He did.
All right. Well, we're going to get right into it. So, Aaron, why don't you kick us off with the studs and duds for the week?
I'd like to welcome LaDonna to help me out with this, actually. She does a studs and duds portion. I think it would be kind of switched off. And, obviously I'll start with Ezekiel Elliott. Huge stud on the ground for running backs. Had, like LaDonna pointed to, against my Packers, 157 yards. I'll be honest, I said it last week, I don't see any signs of this kid slowing down. People that took him in the first, second round, they're loving life right now because that's been, other than David Johnson maybe, he's been probably the most productive back. I believe he's had 130 yards or more in every game.
Mm-hmm.
That's remarkable.
Yeah,
that would be, he's doing great. I'm just excited. Sorry. I love Ezekiel. So he's, like, for him to do this good and the stuff that I heard, like he's a wasted pick and he's not going to do that great, I'm thrilled.
Yeah, he's a top three next year for sure. So did you have a stud, LaDonna?
Yes, I had actually a couple. One of them, somebody actually decided to wake up, and that was Odell Beckham.
Absolutely.
He decided to wake up and have 222 yards and 2 touchdowns. Another one that might like whoa somebody, and I didn't believe it until I read it, was Kessler. He threw for 336 yards and had 2 touchdowns.
I love it.
That definitely went under the radar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knew?
Yeah. Another wide receiver that actually was a semi-stud. I wouldn't call him a complete stud, but I actually had him in my DraftKings lineup, and I also picked him up in a couple of my leagues because I had some injuries at receiver. Stephon Diggs was on a bye for me. Cole Beasley, also against my Packers. So the silver lining in the Packers losing is I actually picked up Cole Beasley. He scored 2 touchdowns for me. So I guess that's
good pickup. But maybe the Cowboys fans can tell us how the reintegration of Tony Romo is going to affect this guy.
Let's just not talk about that guy and let's move forward.
I mean,
yeah, if he sniffs the field, there's a problem.
Beasley has been the number one target of Prescott. Pretty much.
He loves it.
Does that change with Romo?
It would I think it will if Dez is healthy and his connection with Witten is unbreakable. I don't care who you have in there. He's going to constantly throw to Dez and especially Witten. Like, don't get me wrong, Beasley's going to get his touches, but not like he's doing now because he's leading the team right now in yards.
Oh, yeah. Targets.
Well, and you watch him on third downs, he's almost unguardable. It's like watching Julian Edelman or Wes Welker from a few years back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he reminds me so much of Wes Welker. It's crazy.
So another stud tight end, Rob Gronkowski, finally broke into the mold and had himself a pretty darn good week. I have him in 2 of my leagues, so that was nice to see for a change.
Yep.
What about Kenny Britt?
That was another surprise.
Britt.
He's on my list for now. Oz is real happy as a Rams fan.
Kenny Britt.
Kenny Britt's on my list for waiver wires. Good pickup.
Okay.
Yeah,
we can talk
about
that. We can talk about that. But Kenny Britt, I actually, because one of the tricks in certain daily fantasy contests, and I won't mention any brand names here since they don't advertise with us at thegruelingtruth.net, but at one of the daily fantasy sites, and some of the contests require you to pick the guy that's not a favorite. You know, you got to get the guy that's less often picked by the other players. And so I went with Britt. I filled out one of my teams with Kenny Britt. Sure enough, he was one of my highest scorers. Excellent game. I can talk all day about the Rams, but I have my own podcast for that.
That's right.
I'm originally from St. Louis, so I know a lot of your Rams players. Like met them.
I don't know
and know
if you
them.
count on Britt for this every week. I mean, this was just a perfect storm for Case. I mean, what a great game, finding 5-6 different receivers, et cetera. You know, I don't know. It seemed like a great game, and I'll talk a little bit about the London game that the Rams are playing next week and towards the end of the show. But yeah, I don't like Kenny Britt next week necessarily.
He'll be good 1 or 2 more weeks this year.
Oh, yeah, sure. He'll have some good games.
Another stud again, LaShawn McCoy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think right now the top 3 running backs, obviously, LaShawn McCoy, Ezekiel Elliott, and David Johnson.
No doubt. David Johnson's my stud for the week.
Yeah, he definitely had a very good week. Unfortunately, I faced him in one of my leagues, so I lost in that league pretty heavily. But you know, there's guys like Marcus Mariota we talked about last week. Sorry, I couldn't think of his name. I picked him up actually in my daily fantasy league, and he was a stud for me as well. I think he had 28.75 or whatever. Pretty good
took
week.
My advice.
Yes, I did. Thank you.
You're welcome. Got to throw that in there once in a while. I miss on some stuff, but I get some stuff right.
I think we all have this year. We've been pretty right on A.J. Green with the inconsistencies.
Oh, yeah.
41 week, 3 the next, you know.
Yeah, everyone knows the formula to beating the Bengals right now is double cover A.J. Green.
And quite honestly, it's kind of the same thing with Julio Jones. He's been a little bit more consistent, but I think Atlanta's offense is a lot more well-versed as far as, you know, Freeman and Coleman, and Sanu's even had a pretty decent start to the year. So, you know, it's amazing how much that offense is very scary. So that's all I got for studs this week. So, LaDonna, duds.
Yes, duds.
Go ahead, call all the Packers offense duds. Go ahead.
I wasn't even gonna be that mean. I wasn't even going to. I promise you. I was actually going to say There's a couple of them. We have Rashad Jennings that only rushed for 15 yards. I don't even know if that's considered a running back. Only scoring, you're the top running back and running for 15 yards.
Not good.
One of my biggest disappointments, because I had him like number 1 or number 2 last week in my wide receiver fantasy, was Allen Robinson.
Agreed.
Oh, don't bring him up. That hurt me so bad.
It hurt. It hurt me because like I'm telling people, pick him up. 49 yards. What is that?
And he had all of those in like the first quarter because I have him.
I was getting all happy. I'm like, I got 8 points. It's first quarter. It's gonna be a good day for Allen Robinson. Nothing.
Right. Yep. Nothing the rest of the way. Alan Hearns really picked it up in the second and third quarter of that game, and then there wasn't a lot of offense. My biggest dud.
Yeah, I don't have him.
My biggest dud. I have him in one of my leagues. Arian Foster. I picked him in like the 6th or 7th round. It wasn't super high. But coming back, I thought, they said, they released Isaiah Peed. Arian Foster is sure to be more of a role in the offense this week. So then Jay Ajayi ends up with the 134 yards and the touchdown. And where did that come from against the Pittsburgh Steelers? I expected a blowout there the other way.
But 204 yards.
Did.
204 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, he had 200 yards. It was crazy.
Oh yeah,
Aaron, you claimed, Aaron, like after week, I think it was 2, that you would never start Arian Foster again. If you got burned by him, man, you're just going against your own word.
Yeah, well, guess who's on the cut list this week?
Too late, my friend.
I didn't have a choice because Theo Riddick was out.
Okay.
And Jerick McKinnon had a bye. And he was honestly a better play than anyone that's on our waiver wire.
Yeah, waiver wire for running back looks pretty bad right now.
Yeah, it's a little rough.
Crowell, since
I'll
we're
give
talking
you a
about,
dud. Travis Benjamin.
Oh man, let's not even talk.
Yep. Anybody except for the most obscure players on San Diego and Denver. My God, that game.
I didn't expect him to do well. I benched him, but I had to hear a lot of complaining from my wife because she didn't ask me what she thought, and I'm like, no, you did not play Travis Benjamin against Denver. Why? So that was painful for me.
I played him. I played him just due to the fact that I saw what the Falcons did. I understand that they threw, but they ran more. But at the same time, Tevin Coleman was catching the ball. So I'm thinking, you could get the ball around. You just got to figure out how to get it. But Denver did it, so why can't San Diego do it? Yeah, bad idea.
San Diego did to Hunter Henry.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
See how? Yeah, I don't have him.
Exactly.
He does. Hunter Henry's mom.
Delaney Walker also hurt me a lot in both my leagues. 1 catch for 20 yards for Delaney Walker. Like, man, this is Cleveland. Come on. Well, those are my 2 duds.
Hunter Henry reminds me of a young Travis Kelce. Like his first year, he kind of took the world by storm. Hunter Henry, I think, is going to be the next, Kelce/Barnage. He's that next tight end that's going to come up and.
He looks good.
Yes, he looks very good.
Well, Kelce ruined my fantasy. Even though I still won, he almost ruined my day. Almost. And that was just because Blount got a touchdown and Julio ended up getting a touchdown and like a whole bunch of yards. That was the only reason Kelce only got 32 yards and it didn't hurt me.
Yeah.
Well, I had an up and down week. T.Y. Hilton was another disappointment this week, but he's been so solid I can't fault him for one bad week. Zach Miller was another one. 6 catches for 39 yards. Really expected more out of him playing against Jacksonville, who doesn't have the best linebacking core. And secondary, I thought that he would be a little bit more of a factor in that game, so kind of a dud there. Deshaun Jackson, not a real good game. Against Philly, I figured his old team might light him up a little bit. really didn't do too much. But, yeah, Titans defense, too. I wanted to talk about them. That was one of the streaming defenses, I think, last week because they were playing Cleveland. Yeah. Well, I expected maybe a double-digit performance out of them. 6 isn't horrible, but it's really not what you'd expect out of a defense playing Cleveland.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was surprising. Cleveland, like you mentioned, Cody Kessler ended up having a really good game. They just had a really good fourth quarter, and getting the onside kick, they're just able to put up points. And you would have thought that Tennessee seems like they're on a roll. I mean, they won the game and everything, but DeMarco Murray didn't have a big day. Delaney Walker didn't have a big day. Mariota was pretty good, but overall, I thought Cleveland was much more competitive in that game than I think anybody thought.
Absolutely. Did you see the catch by Kendall Wright in that game?
Yes.
Unbelievable catch. I mean, you talk about Odell's one-handed. The catch he made to possess that ball and go to the ground and not have it move. I don't know if you're familiar, but that was a phenomenal catch. Those are my favorite catches to watch when it's a deep ball, the guy lays out and catches it and holds on to the ball. That's actually a tough catch to make.
No doubt.
So,
and yet,
I don't really have any other any duds other than like I said, the Packers offense. Aaron Rodgers
and defense
disappointment this year.
Toss that one in there. It's a little grenade shot across the bow. Here.
I missed it. Can you repeat that, please?
And defense.
Yeah, that had nothing to do with the defense.
But
nobody ran by any cornerbacks.
Nobody.
That didn't happen. Clay Matthews had all kinds of sacks and pressures.
How many short fields did we give Dallas, though? The Jordy Nelson fumble, the Ty Montgomery fumble, the Aaron Rodgers pick to Barry Church. That's just stuff that the Packers don't normally do, and give Dallas credit. They played well. But you can't stop them from scoring 30 when you give them 3 fields of 40 yards or less. And you give up 157 yards rushing, which, by the way, most came in the fourth quarter.
Well, as it should. I mean, that's where you make the money.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think he had 34 yards rushing at halftime. He didn't break one more than 11 yards, I think, in the first half.
But that also tells me that he gets stronger during the course of the game. Which
absolutely, and they do a really good job of not taking carries from him, but spelling him with Alfred Morris. I think they do a very good job. Their offense is balanced as balanced can be.
Yep. No doubt about it.
I see a lot of that continuing.
I got a couple things for starts and sits for Week 7 as we move forward. Looking at Week 7, lots of good matchups. We got an interesting one on Thursday with Aaron's Packers going up against the Chicago Bears.
No, Bears.
Come on. You just said how much it's going to suck. It's a Thursday night game. It's going to suck.
Well, here's what's intriguing. Brian Hoyer is putting up good numbers.
Yeah,
Brian Hoyer's putting up pretty good numbers.
Looking really good.
But I'm not saying the Bears are going to go in and win the game. But fantasy-wise, Brian Hoyer might not be that bad of a play this week, depending on what else you got on your. With all the bye weeks out there, a lot of owners are looking for fill-ins. Brian Hoyer is not a bad matchup this week, but I would sit Jordan Howard. I'm not sure that Howard's going to see a lot of running room. Josh Sitton has an injury. And, I'm not sure if the Bears' offensive line, Green Bay is going to be pretty desperate in this game. But another guy that's probably not going to play is Eddie Lacy. Packers went out and traded for Niall Davis this week. I'm not sure that I would just go get him on a short week.
Yeah, Eddie Lacy is out for several weeks.
Lacy's out several weeks, you said?
Yes, with the ankle sprain.
Okay, I didn't know that. I just knew he was probably out this week.
Starks torn meniscus and Lacy with an ankle sprain. They had to go get a running back, but keep in mind they still only have 2 now because they promoted Ellis Burks or whatever his name is.
Yep. They did promote him today. Okay.
Ellis Burks, he's playing football now? Fantastic.
Not Ellis, whatever his name is. He's
I know who you're talking about, yeah. Ellis Burks from the Red Sox.
Yeah, the center fielder or whatever he was. As soon as I said it, I knew it was wrong. Anyway.
No, it's Coco Crisp, man.
No, that's Eddie Lacy.
That's Eddie Lacy. So that's what he looks like right now.
I knew they were going to promote that running back from the practice squad. I heard that on the radio today, but I did not know that Lacy's injury was that significant. I heard that he probably wouldn't have played on Sunday.
So he spent more time jumping in the game than he did actually running. If you noticed, I don't know if you watched the game, but he actually hurdled like 4 guys. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
With a bad ankle. So anyway, the big thing here, I think the best fantasy players in Thursday night's game will be Jordy Nelson and Aaron Rodgers from the Packers side, as well as Ty Montgomery. If you notice, the Packers used him quite a bit out of the backfield. He's a receiver, but if you're in a PPR, I'm telling you, a waiver wire pickup and a must start, Ty Montgomery out of the backfield.
Yeah, he's on my list for waiver wire pickups.
They will use him a lot. Targets. And Alshon Jeffrey and Zach Miller, I think, will have big days as well for the Bears.
Yeah, I also like Meredith. I really like the Bears receivers in this game up against a really decimated Green Bay secondary. I don't think Green Bay's front seven is all that it's cracked up to be. I don't think they put a lot of pressure on quarterbacks. They're good up front with why is his name escaping me? I wanted him to hit free agency so bad, but it didn't happen. Your best defensive lineman, Aaron.
Mike Daniels.
Mike Daniels is real good up front, but Clay Matthews is not getting a lot of pressure on the quarterback. Brian Hoyer is putting up really good numbers. Those are not bad plays for this week, so that would pretty much round out that game. A couple more guys to sit. I would definitely sit Sammy Coates against the Patriots with Landry Jones at quarterback. I don't see a lot of Steeler receivers doing well. Antonio Brown, you always got to play him because if anybody's going to make a catch, it's going to be him. But I wouldn't expect Sammy Coates to be getting anything deep. So watch for that.
Well, what's the rule, right? The rule is that the Patriots take away your best weapon. Okay.
No doubt. But so which one do you take away, Le'Veon Bell or Antonio
Brown? Exactly. That's the question, I think. Now, I think they're going to let Le'Veon Bell just go nuts, is my opinion. I think they're just going to cut off the passing game altogether, probably, if I had to make that choice.
I disagree. I think they'll try to stop the run and key on Le'Veon Bell out of the backfield and make this quarterback beat you. Landry Jones beat you with his arm.
Mm-hmm. I'd probably lean more that way, too. I think you got to make Landry Jones beat you. Watched him at the end of last year. Watched him in the playoff game. He's just not a very good quarterback. I'm surprised the Steelers don't have a better option, given all of the Roethlisberger's injury history, that they couldn't go out and get somebody better than Landry Jones. It's kind of mind-boggling, actually, because you watch him out there, he looks lost. He doesn't look like he can throw the ball very well, and I just don't expect him to come up with a lot of plays in that game.
It's Bubby Brister all over again.
Yeah, Bubby Brister. We got a lot of blasts from the past tonight. A couple other guys real quick. Matt Forte against the Ravens. The Jets just seem inept right now. I don't know that Forte's a real good play against Baltimore's defense. And there's really not a lot of Cardinals receivers. Even Larry Fitzgerald, I'm just really not sure. They seem, if you watch the offense of the Cardinals, it goes through David Johnson, and Fitzgerald will get a number of targets, but then it's just kind of spread around. John Brown just seems to be just a guy with Jerron Brown and JJ. So I just
and Floyd's off the map.
Yeah, and Michael Floyd just not getting much either.
This guy on draft day was thought to be viable. He's like a mid-round pick or whatever. This guy's not even going to be on the Cardinals next year. I mean, it's just like you can drop this guy almost, so.
Right.
Wow.
So I would really watch that. So I don't know if you guys, what do you guys see happening this week as far as sitting?
Well, I would sit Detroit's players as well. A lot of them. Marvin Jones is one I would consider starting, but if you have Golden Tate and Anquan Bolden, I don't see a big week against Washington.
Really?
Theo Riddick is questionable. Sit him. Washington runs the ball pretty well. I'd start Matt Jones. And I'd also start Pierre Garçon this week, especially if Jordan Reed is still out.
Yeah, there's a little question mark there. Jordan Reed, the last I read, he could play Sunday, but it's really up in the air. So, Donna, do you have any starts and sits you'd like to throw out there for everybody?
Let's see. I thought I was ready, and then my phone decided it didn't like me. I think he's throwing his bad juju as being a Packer fan over here. I would be worried.
For your phone.
Yeah, I think he's throwing it. I think he's I would be worried about Eagles players because they're playing the Vikings. I understand they're at home, but that defense,
good call.
It's destroying people left and right.
Carson Wentz is definitely not a good play this week.
Yeah, I was never.
Here's a tip.
I never jumped on the Carson Wentz bandwagon just due to the fact the first three teams, they were basically here, you can have this win. That's basically what it looked like. And then after that, reality hit. I would be worried about playing the Dolphins. Well, the guy that basically burned everybody, because they're playing the Bills this week. And the Bills' defense is actually looking pretty good.
It's solid. It's real solid.
Yeah,
they got a very well-balanced team all the way around.
Yeah, I don't know if I would start either running back unless you have to against them. I don't even know if I would start Tannehill against them either.
No, absolutely not.
Tannehill is droppable. Tannehill is droppable, don't you think?
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know why anybody would keep him.
Yeah, you don't need him.
Yeah, there's definitely better options out there.
A couple of starts that I've got a lot more sits than starts. Just a couple of starts out there. We talked about Hunter Henry. I think Hunter Henry is not a bad option against the Atlanta defense. They seem to struggle a little bit with tight ends. He seems to be up and coming, so I would be looking at Hunter Henry this week. Spencer Ware got a lot more touches than Jamal Charles did. I believe it was 24-9. And this week you're playing the Saints, and when you get the Saints on the road, they're just not the same team. I think Kansas City is going to be able to win and put up a lot of yards and points up on them. So I think Spencer Ware is a good play, and Andy Dalton. I think a number of leagues, Andy Dalton is in many cases a number 2 quarterback in a lot of leagues. He's been consistent, but the team is not. You just don't know how many yards he's really going to get. This week, the Bengals backs up against the wall against their division rival Cleveland Browns. I know we talked about it last week with Tennessee, but I think Andy Dalton can put up a lot of yards against the Browns.
I think a good game would be. I think Derek Carr is going to do a good game against the Jaguars. I think with that being said, we're going to have to say Amari Cooper. It's going to be I think it's going to be a light-em-up game for both. Another matchup, because it's kind of like someone needs to win, which is Buccaneers 49ers.
Yeah.
With that being said, I think it actually might be a shootout. Just due to the fact that neither one really have defense. And
right.
I think both teams can run. Well, Hyde can definitely run against them way better than. I don't know if Doug Martin's going to be back for this. They're saying he might. But Jacuzzi Rogers actually fits their scheme.
Yeah, Rogers is a good waiver wire pickup from last week.
Yeah, you guys are stealing all my thunder again. It's true.
Well, and just a little bit of a note here. Carlos Hyde was at practice today with a sling. He did have he sustained a shoulder injury at the end of the game last week. They said that it was there, but he was in a sling today. So there's no guarantee that he plays on Sunday. It was listed. I did see the note on Yahoo, so I'm sure it's out there. But he was still listed as very favorable matchup and all that stuff. The word out of San Francisco is he might not play. So just be watching for that.
I'll get an update soon. Let's see, and another one is the Patriots are playing the Steelers. If Miami can destroy the Steelers, I don't want to see what the Patriots can do.
Oh, yeah. Brady's going to carve them up. The question is who gets all the points, though.
Do you think Brady carves them up more, or do you think that the running game? I mean, Joe Ajayi just ran for 204 yards, as we touched on. I think LeGarrette Blount and James White are two must-starts this week.
No. I asked the Magic 8 Ball, and it said it is decidedly so that Hogan is going to get the most points.
It's going to be Blount.
You might as well
So this explains your record. You're using a Magic 8 Ball.
No. What explains my record is IR. Instead of having numbers, I should just have I-R. That's the problem. I mean, it was funny because you mentioned before,
I thought that stood for irrational rostering.
No.
You're talking about the injury.
You mentioned before, do you guys have any more starter sits? Man, I don't have any choice. I start who's healthy. I'm like your Indianapolis Colts at this point. I'm pulling in guys from who knows where, CFL ball maybe, and starting them. So that's what I'm going to blame it on. But no, I mean, you never can tell with the Patriots, right? You never can tell who's going to score. I do like Blount. Blount has been consistent no matter who's the quarterback. He's put a touchdown up in almost every game this season. So he's a pretty solid start, but nobody else. I don't play anybody else. Gronk, maybe. Brady, of course.
Well, Martellus Bennett, I think, is going to get a lot. I think the tight ends are the ones that are going to get the most targets. Julian Edelman is I don't want to say a forgotten guy, but he's just not going to get – he'll have his days, but they just spread the ball so well because you got Danny Amendola, you got Chris Hogan, you got three of the same guy. Then they use Brandon Bolden. Then they use they're using so many guys in that. So to me, it's the two tight ends and Blount. Yeah.
Those are really and Bennett. I mean, Bennett is a key part of that Patriots game every week, but he doesn't always get the stats. Like this week he was great. He didn't get squat for stats this week, but he was great. So that's the problem with Bennett. I think going forward now, Gronk will put up huge points every week, but Bennett, maybe this week, maybe next week, who knows?
I would agree, and I think now that Gronk is back and appears to be back to form, I think you're going to see the camaraderie and the continuity that Gronk and Brady have shine a little bit more than Bennett. I think Bennett will still be a viable bye-week tight end. I just wouldn't start him. You can't trust that he's going to be used enough to put up the numbers.
Yeah, not anymore. I don't think we'll see another 3-touchdown game out of him this season. So I don't think. Yeah, he's not a starter week to week anymore.
Did you say Gronk or Bennett?
No,
Gronk.
Bennett, okay.
I was saying Gronk. I think Gronk's going to be the main tight end there now. That'll get the focus.
Yeah, most likely. Well, we got about 5 minutes left, and we want to go through waiver wires and streaming defenses. Oz, why don't you kick that off?
Wow. Okay. All right, let's run through this real quick because the pickings are getting slim, guys. Okay, so for quarterbacks, I think you should definitely run out and pick up Geno Smith. Nah, I'm kidding. Obviously,
really? Have you been drinking again?
Yeah, again, still, Matt, still. Of course, the no-brainer pickup here at quarterback is Marcus Mariota. Still available in like half of leagues here, Yahoo. So, they're playing Indianapolis this week, folks. Pick them up. Also, last week I recommended Alex Smith. Didn't turn out so well. Fewer than 9 points in the Yahoo format. Yeah, fewer than 9 points in the Yahoo format. But I'm telling you, man, he's the best guy out there. And this week he has the Saints. Not going to score a lot of points. Never going to score a lot of points. But might get some. At running back, let's see. The big pickup of the week seems to be Matt Asiata. I guess we're going to welcome a whole bunch of new people to the very frustrating experience that is owning Asiata. Still gets a lot of goal line carries, but lately McKinnon has been getting more carries than Asiata. So tough to pick him up, but hey, if you're even looking at Asiata, you're probably really desperate anyway. So you can take a swing. You mentioned Jacquizz Rodgers before. Yeah, he made a nice impact. 30 carries, some catches as well. Ended up with, 149 total yards, I think it was. Really great if Doug Martin doesn't come back. Even if Doug Martin doesn't come back, though, I would suspect that Jacquizz probably still gets some touches, still gets some carries. So I wouldn't completely give up on him. Wide receiver, Pierre Garçon, you mentioned him earlier. There's absolutely no reason why this guy should still be out there. He's still available in 85% of Yahoo leagues. Come on.
Oh, wow.
Seriously, yes. By my standing at Yahoo, he has double-digit fantasy points in 4 of the 6 games this year, and he gets the Lions this week. The Lions can't play ball against.
Real quick, Oz, can we call Jacquizz Rodgers Jacuzzi like LaDonna did? That just sounds better.
It sounds better. Jacuzzi. Yes.
Jacuzzi Rodgers. Yeah, why not?
Jacuzzi.
Jacuzzi. Isn't that what you put your beer in? It's a beer jacuzzi?
That's a koozie.
Jacuzzi is a hot tub that you sit in.
Yes. I know,
your
guys.
beer in that,
Southern California. I'm in Southern California. I know what a jacuzzi is.
Matt, he's right. He is drinking. Talking about jacuzzis and stuff.
He's got issues. He's not putting the alcohol in the right place.
Yeah, my stomach.
The alcohol does not go in the hot tub, Oz.
Also, oh, hell yes, it does. Also at wide receiver, hey, you want to gamble? How about Victor Cruz? Come on, he's got to have a game at some point, right? He's got to have a game at some point, and the Rams secondary is torched. We're hearing both of our starting quarterbacks are out. I'm hearing horror stories. Apparently, Jeff Fisher's plan is to keep his players awake all night in order to catch up with the time zone, which sounds like a swell idea to win a ball game.
Oh, my God.
Not. So I would definitely be looking at Mr. Beckham and maybe Victor Cruz if you're desperate. Let's see. He's been on and off the waiver wire all year, but he's still up there in like 33% of leagues. So give him a shot. Tight end Cameron Brate, classic. I think I've brought him up twice before already. This guy's on and off the waiver wire all year. He's not a big stat guy, but he has put up numbers all year. A couple of games he's put up 15 points or more at Yahoo, but they're playing San Francisco this week. Sounds like points to me. What do you think, Matt? 18% owned in Yahoo.
It's very possible. Right now, that defense is so decimated. I think you could. I think even the Packers could score on them.
Okay, finally, I got defenses. I got defenses. The two, I think, obvious plays are Baltimore at the Jets and the Patriots against the Steelers. But people own those already. I think for my 5-star pick of the week, I'm going to pick a defense that sometimes isn't even there at all. I'm going to go with the Giants closing against my Rams. Yeah, the Giants are a 2.5-point favorite in this game in London, and the over-under on this is 43.5. The only downside to playing the defense against the Rams is, for as much as the Rams' offense sucks this year generally, except for last game, we don't have that many turnovers, so you're not going to get that many turnovers. You probably will get quite a few sacks, but not so many interceptions, not so many fumble recoveries. But, yeah, I think as far as waiver wire pickups, I might be looking at the Giants. The Rams are often available, too. That defense might have a decent game. But I don't know. These London games, they're either higher scoring, way higher scoring, or way lower scoring than you think. I think this one's going to be way low scoring. Way low scoring. So I think
I don't think it's going to be a high game at all.
Is it sorry?
I don't think it's going to be a high game at all.
No, it's going to be a low scoring.
I would agree. I think this is actually a solid play.
Yeah, everything about the Rams management and the actual team itself, just nightmares. I can't.
Well, we don't want to plunge. We don't want to plunge Oz into an abyss of hot tub water and alcohol because we start bringing up the Rams. This could get ugly here. So we're going to wind down real quick. But Oz, very good rundown. LaDonna, I want you to tell everyone again about your blog and where they can follow you and find all your stuff.
You can find me on Twitter, and it's Mimi, M-I-M-I, Fandemonium. It's all one, no underscores or nothing, just all one word. And also you can find me at rivalrysports.sportsblog.com. There's a group of us that write for Peter Wiseman. And I have, like I said, 3 blogs per week that come out. You can also find me on Facebook, LaDonna Williams. But, yeah, I'm always around.
Excellent.
I will definitely come back. Please, if the Bears win Thursday.
Oh, Aaron's going to have a rough time because, I'm guessing LaDonna will be back for that.
Yeah.
If the Bears win on Thursday, LaDonna, next week I will come on, give you props, and I will talk about I will introduce you to do the studs and duds. How's that sound?
Yeah. I'm so down.
Yeah, there's really no reason to be excited about a Packer win if they should beat the Bears. So it looks like it's probably just going to be one-sided.
I don't think they'll win. I don't think that the Bears will win. But if somehow there's an accident that happens, this is the week.
It's an accident that happens.
That accident happened Sunday.
It was an accident. You just haven't been paying attention
you got
to
beat by a better
in Cheese
team.
World.
The Packers thought they're still they're on another bye week. Here's the thing with the Packer-Bear matchup. You could take records out and throw them out the window because it's a rivalry game. They're playing for like the 193rd time. And I will say this, though. The Packers have lost to 2 teams combined 10-1. The Bears just got beat by Jacksonville at home. I'm not sure that they're in a much better place than the Packers right now. We're sitting at 3-2. They're sitting at 1-4 or 1-5. And look, their quarterback situation is ugly. And I just don't think that their defense will stop us. I really don't.
Oh, you're talking about the Bears. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the Bears are going to have a really, really tough time to trying to win this game. But
this is a must-win.
I don't think this is the. Oh yeah, I just don't know that anything's certain right now. So we'll see. We'll see if we'll see how this all shakes out. But definitely standing offer to LaDonna come back. So I'd like to thank LaDonna for coming by our show. Appreciate you taking time out, and hope you enjoyed yourself.
Oh, thanks for having me. I had a blast.
Good. So everybody be sure to check out all of our articles and other podcasts on thegruelingtruth.net, also on Twitter at gruelingtruth, also on our Facebook page. So for LaDonna Williams, Aaron Zepnick, Oz Davis, I'm Matt Andruscavage. You've been listening to The Truth About Fantasy Football on the Grueling Truth Radio Network, where the legends speak.